Opposites attract. The planner and the free spirit, the quiet one who needs the loud one. You already know this story, and it's wrong. In 2023, a team of behavioral geneticists measured how alike romantic partners actually are, not opinions, measurements, across 133 separate human traits: politics, schooling, height, drinking, bedtime. If opposites attracted, those numbers should lean negative. Except that's not what happened. Of the traits that showed a real pattern, 115 went the same direction. Partners matched. 3 went the other way. 3 out of 118. So the proverb isn't slightly off, it's backwards. And the strange part isn't that it's wrong, it's where it came from. Because opposites attract didn't drift from folklore into science. It started in science. Science threw it out, and nobody told the rest of us.
Don't take my word for it. Here's the record. The paper is called Evidence of Correlations Between Human Partners based on systematic reviews and meta-analyses of 22 traits and UK Biobank analysis of 133 traits. Tanya Horowitz and 3 colleagues published in Nature Human Behaviour in 2023. The authors are behavioral geneticists at the Institute for Behavioral Genetics, University of Colorado Boulder. The paper has 2 halves: a meta-analysis, 480 partner correlations pulled from 199 peer-reviewed studies, and an original analysis of up to 79,074 couples in the UK Biobank. One limit the authors put in writing themselves: the Biobank half is British, aged 40 to 69, and healthier and better off than the national average. The meta-analysis half is none of those things. It spans countries, decades, and disciplines. Both halves point the same direction.
That is not a press release. That sentence is in the introduction of the paper. And this isn't one study arguing with another. The meta-analysis half swept up nearly every partner similarity study published up to August 2022, then checked whether the published record was tilted toward flashy results. It wasn't. Look at what tops the list. Political values, 0.58. Religious attitudes, educational attainment, drinking habits, all clustered near the top. Even year of birth comes in at 0.87. The single strongest thing partners have in common is that they were born around the same time. And here is a number the paper is careful about, so we will be too. The average correlation across those 133 traits is 0.19, modest. Nobody is claiming couples are copies. The claim is about direction, and the direction held 115 times out of 118, which leaves 3. And the strongest of the 3 is not what anyone would guess: bedtime. The strongest case for opposites attract in the entire data set is larks marrying owls. That is the empire. So if the evidence runs this hard the other way, who told us otherwise? His name was Robert Winch. He set the theory out in a textbook in 1952, ran it through the American Sociological Review across 1954 and 1955, and in 1958, Harper and Brothers gave it a book of its own, Mate Selection, a Study of Complementary Needs. The argument was elegant, which is exactly why it spread. Within the pool of people you could plausibly marry, you pick the one whose needs fill the gaps in yours. The dominant find the yielding. The talkers find the listeners. It was a real theory in real journals, taught in real classrooms.
Now look at what it was built on. 25 couples, undergraduates at one American university, and whoever they had married. Their needs weren't measured by a test. They were scored by judges reading personal documents. 25 couples hand-scored at one school against 79,000. It did not survive contact with data. In October 1956, the same journal ran a test of it. Charles Borman and Barbara Day took couples who were engaged or going steady. The theory said it should hold for them too. The complementarity did not show up. More tests followed. The theory quietly stopped being a theory. But the idea had already left the building, and that is the asymmetry that keeps bad ideas alive.
A theory needs evidence to survive in a journal. A proverb only needs to be useful. And this one explains any couple instantly, using no information about them at all. The proverb never got the memo. The theory faded out of the journals. And in February 1990, a song called Opposites Attract went to #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. The theory lost, the slogan won. But knowing the proverb is backwards doesn't tell you what is actually happening when you fall for someone who feels nothing like you. And no, you are not imagining the difference.
Start with where you met them. Dating works like a hiring pool. Long before anyone talks to anyone, the pool has already been filtered by neighborhood, school, workplace, app, friend group. By the time two people are in the same room, most of the sorting is done, and it's sorted for similarity. Same city, same schooling, same rough income band. You didn't choose that filter, you chose inside it. Picture the funnel. A metro area holds a few million adults, the people you could realistically ever meet. Work, school, an app's radius, a friend of a friend, might be a few thousand. That cut is made before you have a preference about anything. That is why politics and education correlate so hard. Not because anyone screens a date for a voting record, because the room was screened first. Then there is the second mechanism, the one that makes the proverb feel true from the inside.
In 2008, a meta-analysis in the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships gathered 460 effect sizes from 313 studies. It separated two things almost nobody separates: how alike two people actually are and how alike they feel. Both predict attraction, but they behave differently over time. In established relationships, actual similarity stopped predicting attraction. Perceived similarity kept predicting it. So early on, being genuinely alike pulls two people together. What holds them afterward is the sense that they are alike, a different measurement taken by a different instrument. The differences you notice are surface traits. He's loud, she's quiet. She plans, he improvises. Those are visible across a room in 4 seconds. The things the data says you actually matched on, politics, schooling, how much you drink, what you think a good life looks like, are invisible across a room. You find them out 3 months in, and finding them out doesn't feel like a match, it feels like relief. The visible differences are the story told about the relationship. The invisible similarities are the relationship. And getting that backwards costs something, not in a journal, in a kitchen. If you believe opposites attract, friction reads as chemistry. The fights become evidence. We're so different, that's why it's electric. The proverb hands you a reason to stay in something that isn't working and calls it destiny. Run it the other way and the same fight reads differently. Not electric, just a mismatch on something that mattered, dressed up as a personality clash. There is a second cost, and this one isn't romantic at all. Partners match hardest on schooling and income, which means every couple is also a small merger. 2 people with degrees pool 2 salaries and 2 networks. 2 people without pool neither. The authors flag where that leads, carefully, as a mechanism their numbers imply rather than a measurement they took. Your love life is a line in the national wealth distribution. Nobody living it experiences it that way. And the proverb helps keep it invisible. If love is drawn to difference, then a country where lawyers keep marrying lawyers looks like a coincidence instead of a pattern. Every couple experiences it as chemistry. The distribution experiences it as sorting. None of this says you didn't marry someone different from you. You probably did, in volume, in tempo, in how you load a dishwasher. It says the difference isn't the reason it works. So, the next time someone tells you they married their opposite, believe the feeling and check the receipt. The differences are real. They were just never the thing holding it together.
The story didn't change. The frame did.
If you enjoyed this video, hit like and subscribe so you don't miss the next ones. And let me know in the comments what you think. It helps me figure out what to cover next.